All right, folks, another Friday here, and so we get cracking from our Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, this week, this Friday, let's share this with you. PDP and APC bicker over alleged cloning of PVCs as Nigerians allege exploitation by registration officials. NEC sets up committee to decentralize police operations, just as NHRC, that's the National Human Rights Commission, cautions police against torturing suspects. And later on, the Nigerian Bar Association, rights groups, and other groups hail acting President Oshibajo over SARS, or what you call SARS, condemned journalist detention, but let's say the journalist has been released. We'll discuss this in detail. But quickly we meet Babajide Kolade Otitoju on a Friday evening.
I greet you.
I greet you too.
It always makes me happy because I know you...
On a Friday?
On a Friday. I know that once we come out of this door, I can grab you.
And he will pay.
And the bills
it's not paid.
on your bill.
Okay, but Charles Ideo is there. He's a holy man.
He's my sidekick.
I will join him.
All right, so the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then, let's keep going. There's an old established axiom or adage that suggests that we have to distrust ourselves because it's the only defense against betrayal. I hope you got that. But as they say in politics, stupidity is not a handicap. That's why you are torn between betraying your country or the electorate in this instance. The national leadership of the PDP has accused the ruling APC of planning to get power by all means. It insists the APC, in cahoots with the INEC, is planning to clone the PVC ahead of the 2019 polls. The ruling party is not amused by this claim. The electors themselves allege exploitation by registration officers. The election fever is crippling. I think it is indeed. The fever is here, Jide.
It's here.
2019.
I think for many politicians, the PVC is a tool for cheating. On election
that's
day,
to many politicians.
to many politicians. To you and I, it is a means of accreditation and actually voting on election day. But it means a lot more to most politicians.
Even that beggars a lot of belief, because I am looking at the card and how it will be more useful to the politician than the elector.
It's more useful to the politician. And I'm going to tell you that on election day in 2015, one politician was caught with 4,000 PVCs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You remember? From
the
east.
them over something.
What they do, they mop up PVCs. That's why, even to many voters now, the PVC is actually a means of making money. You know why?
To the voter himself.
Yes, you know why? Because our elections have been commercialized to the point that the Bofumeko Sebe has taken over. Vote for me and cook your soup. So now the one who has a PVC thinks that, yes, I can actually, on election day, I can be active. And I stand a good chance of making some money. Now, what some politicians are doing is they are mopping up PVCs, and mopping those cards, and in areas where they think that they don't stand a good chance, they just mop them up and keep. They have no use for it. They don't want the actual owners to be able to use them on election day. So they just pay them off.
What happens after the election?
Those PVCs are destroyed. And then the owners will claim that they got missing. INEC has a design by which you can actually have your lost PVC replaced. Okay. So this is what is happening. And now the people whose duty it is to register you and I to vote, they've also seen that. They've seen the PVC as a meal ticket. So what do? They continue to make money. They ask you to pay. At the point where you are registered, they first take money from you. In some cases, if you think that getting to the center as early as 6 a.m. Makes a lot of sense, you're actually mistaken, because you will get there and find so many people already waiting. Yeah, it's bad enough that Nigerians like to wait until the last minute. But the reason those queues are ending is the deliberate attempt or deliberate effort by the people whose duty it is to register you and I, to make it look cumbersome, make it look difficult, so that the queues will be long. The longer the queue, the more frustrated Nigerians get. The more frustrated Nigerians get, the more money they stand to make, because they will now begin to extort money.
At that point, nobody thinks about vote tally.
No, it's not. That is not their issue. Everything, we've reduced everything to money. We reduce everything to money.
Charles, don't ask me how we got here, because we did by road the same path we have walked since 1960. And you would have thought with the return of party politics in 1999, we would have built on, learned a lot of lessons.
Well, another problem which is quite sad is the inability of the voter to know how important that piece of plastic is in his hand. Most people just vote, most people go to register because, for instance, I heard a woman say in Lagos that if I don't do it now, maybe if my son wants to go to school, the government might ask, where's your voter card? So not for the fact that she wants to use it as a means to join the decision making in who represents her.
Yeah.
But because of fear of the unknown, which of course is not founded, because I don't see any government asking you to produce your card for you to benefit certainty from government. It doesn't make any sense at all. Because of lack of education.
No. It's not a constitutional matter.
They demanded it.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, but it doesn't make any sense at all.
But
so that's what government should do.
It's an idea to ensure that almost everybody of voting age gets the PVC.
Yeah, see, there are two things to do now. First of all, is to, as we're doing education now, let people get their PVC because they are tool, number one. Not just to say you must get it at all cost, but get it because of what it means to you.
What would you say if you are told,
yeah.
I imagine you know this, I hear some churches are making that a precondition before you are giving the communion.
Holy communion in the Orthodox churches? Yes, I've also heard it. Even in my church.
And you are wondering if it is true?
I've heard a number of times that Orthodox churches they place so much premium on the issue of Holy Communion. So before you can kneel down before a Reverend Father or a priest or the clergy, you must produce it. And even from the gate, you've shown them. But again, on its own, it's not supposed to be a bad idea because they want to sensitize the people for them to have this. But the modus operandi may be wrong, but the question is that after asking people to get their PVC, do they know how important the PVC is to them? Do they use it, the purpose for which government designed it to be? These are the questions we want to begin to tell them, you know?
But the bickering from the heading, from the subject matter, is that of cloning. And the INEC is saying anything about cloning should be
forgotten. Exactly.
Because we are in charge. So who is cloning what at this point, given what the
I have no evidence that that claim is true. We are in a season of falsehood.
And propaganda
if you want to know how much kick falsehood gives Nigerians, just get on social media.
They thrive on it.
Just get on social media where every glorified rumor monger has turned himself to a journalist. You know, just like Farid Zakaria
Yes.
of CNN said,
yes, yeah.
the internet has put power in every hand, but not a sense of responsibility. You know, Farid
No checks too.
Farid is a man is a man of words.
Yes.
He said the internet has put power in every hand, but not a sense of responsibility.
That's right.
Because
Which is key.
Which
yes,
is very key.
so people abuse the internet. So we see all these
Abuse
things.
information too.
They abuse the internet because when you sit down and you just make up your mind to lie to the citizenry, then it shows that you have a fantastic capacity for evil.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
But this propaganda will thrive when there's no information. Which you say you must bridge the gap.
That is why it is. You see, the INEC, the Voter Education Unit of INEC has a lot to do. For example, we need to let our people know that the PVC belongs to them.
Yes.
And not to any politician.
anybody.
Yeah.
They have no reason to surrender their
let go.
PVCs to any politician. But our people are impoverished citizens. A man is struggling to make ends meet, who does not know where his next meal will come from. You offer him 10,000 naira to part with his PVC. He will think you are God
Do me a
sent.
favor.
You will think God sent you to him, and he will willingly surrender it. It happened in the last election, and it's happening now because for this election, the stakes are higher. So politicians are already mopping up PVCs.
So let's shoot down the cloning angle.
Yeah.
And more on this crazy idea, you know. But how much hunger would push you to lose your head?
Well, hunger can deal a heavy blow to a man's brain. Honestly, because if you know,
Including the educated?
well, education doesn't take hunger away in a way, especially when you have problem in an economy. Economy, when somebody has graduated.
In a contest between survival and education.
And education.
Survival will carry the day.
Alternative. So education in most cases doesn't take hunger
And then
away.
you get fed for maybe 1 or 2 days. And that's it.
But no, that 1 or 2 days.
And does it take the poverty away?
No, it doesn't. But the thinking is that they live by every tick of the clock. So if they survive for the next tick of the clock, they have the belief that another clock tick, another clock. So it is living, but just give me what I want to add today. They will tell you who
They live for the moment.
They live for the moment, exactly.
They live for the moment.
So it's not about education. I mean, as Jerry said, go to
Poverty is a debilitating thing.
You can
It's
take away
the
your
worst
brain.
form of
But you see,
pollution.
the issue of cloning, I don't think, for instance,
Because
because
I'm
what
wondering-
INEC has put in place,
Yeah.
cloning may not work because this have very, very significant, very security features. I heard that even on one of these large market, online marketing, they were selling even PVC.
Yeah.
But you see, the people who are watching must know that if you buy any PVC
They are
online,
scamming people. When we begin to let votes count in our country, and politicians are certain that for every aberrant behavior, for every misdemeanor on their part, they could be punished. They will work for the people. As things stand now, those lawmakers in Abuja, they don't work for you. It is foolhardy to think they work for you. They don't work for you. In most cases, what they say is, look, whether you like it or not, I will be elected.
The result can be determined.
They know how to get elected. They will bribe voters on election. They offer them money, offer them
maybe
clothes
just of,
and all that, and then get the security agencies
well.
compromise to
compromise.
do their bidding. Because we see on election day they say no politician should move around with security men,
But they do.
you see them they move around
But
with security men.
even within INEC.
in areas where they know that they do not stand a chance, what do? They unleash thugs.
Yeah.
We mobilize thousands of policemen and soldiers
30,000
on election day.
This
Yes,
happen.
as we saw in Ekiti
Criminalities.
and even in Kogi, some
right there.
polling centers, thugs still snatch ballot boxes.
Right in the-
Why
right
do
under
they
the
do
nose
it?
of the policemen.
Why do they do it? To make sure that some candidates don't win
especially
where
in
they are
strong areas.
deemed to be strong.
Exactly. That's right. Strong
You know,
areas.
well, maybe it's also a function of poverty to say your ballot box at your polling center is snatched.
Yes.
Why not insist it is not
It is not what?
snatched?
Oh, to insist it wasn't snatch. When you took, when
you
you
took
can
and
see
made the
them
vote.
in the full glare of everybody,
Possibly
they take away the
with the
ballot
gun.
box.
Possibly with the
What
gun.
happens when they take away that ballot box? In most cases, what does INEC do? INEC will cancel
Which is to the disadvantage of the person who is strong there.
Go and see the last election. Look
You
at,
know?
go and check what happened in Kogi and see the number of cancelled ballots. Go and see the so this is
most
what
cases,
happens.
As we begin to take this
Yes.
home, we can drop this in. I hear about 91 parties might stand election next year. Are you foreseeing
I'm
the
worried.
ballot paper?
I'm worried. It's going to be as long as
Are you saying the ballot paper?
maybe half a kilometer.
As long as the third mainland reach.
But again, the fear there, the fear I am personally entertaining is that some of these you say invalid votes. How does it happen when the ink stay? I mean, the ink appears on two logos.
You have to wait for it to dry.
You now
before
fold
you
it,
and you don't have to fold tightly.
No, but which is what the INEC, the education, the voter education to also do, and the NOA.
They are doing it, but
the National Registration
some
Agency
of the
also have to do that.
voters, some of the voters are illiterate.
That's what I'm saying.
So
So we also have that because, but again, most. But again, why do we need that one parties in a country
How
that
would
is
the ballot
struggling?
paper look like?
It's going to be long.
I'm trying to imagine how.
It can't look. It can't. In 91, it can't be It can't be shorter than my arm. It can't be shorter than my arm. So when you now have that, then people are confused because even the logos, I see some logos that are even looking alike. So even if you say, okay, vote for maybe vote for cock or vote for something, you don't see cock, you see peacock, you see hen.
I think a little.
And all kinds of funny names for parties. Zenith
Party
Party.
of Nigeria.
Let's be
Millennium Party of Nigeria.
Let's be a little nostalgic here. Second Republic, I remember 5 parties.
Yes, 5 party, yes.
The
UPN.
NPN had, in my part of the world, Keri, Baita, Fiubok. That is, PDP was number 3. Out of the five, that is NPN. I'm sorry.
You count
Say
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Knock hand. Even from bottom. 1, 2, 3. Knock hand.
So
You are
in the middle. Yes.
Very easy.
So it was easy. Now, 91.
91. No,
And you
even
start
91.
the same singing.
Good. No, you
Then
can't.
you take a deep breath and continue the singing again.
For the 15th or the 20th.
Oh boy.
But even then, look.
No, it's
as we talked
Ghanaian,
about-
you know, it's Ghanaian when made that.
Yeah, that cost it, exactly. You say, oh, you should liberalize.
No, they say because people,
You know?
by the time that landmark case that he won was what opened the floodgates
What opened the floodgates to
for the National
liberalization
Conscience
and-
Party
Yeah.
and others.
After that, all manner of names.
Jide, let me announce that a Joseph from your former Kogi
My
is
former
here.
state, okay.
I greet you.
Great.
Joseph, how are you? Good evening. Joseph, are we in business?
Yes, sir.
Are we in business?
It doesn't look like we're
No, he's not. He's not ready.
So apart from the letters of the party, YDC, APC, PPC. Look, people you talk about the issue. BJD thought about the most of the voters are uneducated.
Oh yeah.
So if you
Great
can't,
many.
because one thing you make them to recognize what party they should put to vote is the logo, is the symbols. But when you have symbols that are, most of them are similar in nature, it's going to be a lot of confusion. For instance, people who take money to Sebe as BJD said, and then you don't see them, they are confused.
Yeah.
So I think, for instance, we must do away with this issue of personal interest in Nigeria. That what they do today now is that they want to show up their CV, a former presidential candidate of social party.
Oh no, we have a way of dealing with
So
it.
we
when they say Jide, when they introduce Jide Kolade, one time
presidential candidate.
It means say you don't take. When they say immediate pass, then
Emeritus presidential candidate.
but let me drop this.
Oh, he boosts their
their
CV.
Oh, yeah,
That's
oh,
why I
yeah.
said boost their CV.
Is it too early to ask for us to go back and exploit and explore the possibility or otherwise of going, what do you call it now, electronic voting?
Yes, but you and I know that it does not give foolproof guarantee against
It
voter.
also has its own disadvantages.
It has its own problems.
Yes.
And, but I know that ultimately that's the way to go. We
Yeah.
can't continue in this way. The biggest democracy in the world is India.
India, yeah.
If they do an election today, before the close
Before
of
this,
that
I mean,
day,
if 24
the
hours,
winner,
they've
you
got
will
the-
have
you
known
know
the
the
winner.
winner.
Yeah.
You know?
So how are they doing it?
How do they do it? Do they do what we do? That they will be bringing vehicles. Somebody will enter a vehicle from maybe from Madagali in Adamawa State. And that's
About
the
8
returning
kilometers.
officer will be 8 hours or
8
7
hours,
hours.
journey.
You'll be going down all the way to
the
state
hinterlands.
capital. Or somebody will get up from Mambila, which is about 7 hours, even by Isuzu
by-
Tiger.
exactly.
You now start coming down to Jalingo to submit the report. I mean, it is archaic.
Sorry.
It's
Abdul
archaic.
Latif is in Adamawa. He has joined us. I greet you. Welcome.
Hello, how are you? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you? Fine, thank you. So how was
we're
the
okay,
wonderful work that you people are doing?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Jide first because Jide is doing wonderful things to a common Nigerian in his handout. Why I said is, those that at the village, you people let us to be watching because we are seeing what is happening in Nigeria and the truth are coming out. Continue with what you people are doing.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
those that does not have knowledge of watching television, they are starting watching.
Yeah, Abdul Aziz, it tells me.
Why I want to comment over this INEC issue, whether registration 9130 whatsoever. This will never be a problem. But I want to advise INEC over this registration. If they want let them look.
Okay.
No, we can't continue with this. It's woozy.
The line is
Maybe it has to do with maybe network over where he is.
network palaver.
That's
But
right, yes.
we can sift through what
Yes,
he's
yes,
saying.
yes,
you
yes,
know.
yes, that's right.
But
Saying
happily,
that people who are not watching TV before are beginning to watch
To
because
watch.
of the education
Yeah, well, we
that we
give them.
provide and all that. So
Which is good.
so we have his vote. At least we have one vote.
That's right.
And nobody can
despite the
read
fact
that.
that we do not have voter cards, but at least we are guaranteed.
Okay, so I'm saying finally, you know, it is the best way to go. You talked about India.
yes.
Yes, electronics, that's right.
It is the
You
best
will
way
be
to go.
you'll be at work. You are voting. You don't need to go.
You don't need to shut down.
Everyone knows
the-
this is to shut down the
Beyond,
economy.
I talk about people having to travel, return
yeah,
officers
yeah,
traveling
yeah,
for
travel,
hours to go and physically submit this. INEC has told us that they are going to be front-loading results
results from the
electronically.
polling
But
votes.
the evidence we have is that even in Ekiti, where they promised to do that for the first time, they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
what are you going to
So
test on it?
when are we going to have a situation in which, as soon as the ballots close in Kaduna, the next minute we can know the results?
Jide, we must not lose hope. There's an election in September, so I can't wait for that.
Okay.
Okay, as we always say, the debate continues, but we have been able to knock the claim by the PDP, the opposition party, that voter cards are being cloned. They're not. Now, still to come, NEC, that's the National Economic Council, sets up committee to decentralize police operations, just as the National Human Rights Commission says police are torturing suspects, and they must stop that. We'll be back. Okay, welcome back. Now, feelers we are getting point to a totally new day ahead for the Nigeria police. Away from the planned new order for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, you call it SARS, government is romancing the idea of decentralizing policing in the country. At the last meeting of the National Economic Council, chaired by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, the council resolved to deconcentrate deconcentrate or decentralize police operations across the country. Meanwhile, the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, cautions the police against torturing suspects for information. But first of all, let's hear the gist of the police decentralization from the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno. Listen to this.
What we've decided to do is to work on certain methods. For example, the council decided that a committee would be set up with representation from each political zone to be chaired by the Inspector General of Police, so that we'll find ways of decentralizing police operations so that there will be greater access to information, and handling these situations will become much easier rather than a centralized and cumbersome approach. It's not easy to coordinate. Yes, coordination, that all security agencies are supposed to be centrally coordinated, but sometimes we have issues. But these issues are being addressed right now, and probably that is why we are beginning to see some improvement. But the truth is that we are dealing with a situation that is asymmetric, that is not normal, it is not conventional. And in dealing with these problems, there will be issues.
And that's the National Security Advisor. He should know, he should know. But
You look really sharp in that suit.
Yes.
oh yeah. Make the job hungry you. Okay then, so how do we tackle this? Decentralizing the police, I said the other day, there's a marked difference between a good sounding idea and an idea that sounds good. This is okay, but why had we been splitting hairs over decentralizing the force up until now?
Yes, what we are seeing now is an attempt to get away from state policing, because if you want state policing, then you've got to amend the Constitution.
Yeah.
So they see a logjam about that. And you know that even members of the National Assembly too have been calling for state police. The issue is, when we are confronted by a big problem, we will start looking for solutions, and people to blame. It's either we say, oh, it's politicians who are behind it or not. When we now manage to find a system that works, we forget what we were saying back then, that, oh, it's actually politicians. You can see that the killings have reduced, no doubt about it. And how did we do it? We deployed the military.
Yeah.
We found an effective launching, a very effective launching pad for them. Like in Zamfara, for example, we discovered that we could actually use the Katsina airport as the base for the Air Force. And it's not, Katsina is not far from Zamfara.
Yeah.
So their bombing rates, they could actually initiate their bombing rates from that place. And within 5 minutes, they are back to base. So this is the situation.
So sorties are easier.
Sorties are shorter, they are easier. So now nobody will say, oh, it's this person that is behind this. In Benue, we have deployed the Air Force. The Air Force went with maximum force, using the most lethal ground attack helicopter in the arsenal. That is the Mi-35. The Mi-35 is a monster. Now, those guys who thought they had 2 heads or 3 heads, they are finding it difficult to operate because they are being bombed. So if we had done this earlier, we wouldn't have been blaming politicians. Oh, it's politicians who are behind this and that. So we are combing the area. We are making it difficult for them to move around as they used to do. So that is one leg of the problem. Now this one, they are saying, they have now felt that they now feel that, look, we can actually decentralize the police. You can see the governors that they brought together, the governors of the states worst hit by insecurity in our country. Now, how do we decentralize? In some cases, a governor wants to give a directive to the Commissioner of Police in the state. And the Commissioner of Police will insist that he has to take instruction from Abuja. Yes. So we have to look at this, because if he cannot get that clearance in good time, lives will have been lost. So we have to find a way to decentralize. And then, can we also, beyond decentralization, the problems that remain with the police, how are we going to solve those problems? The problem of funding, the problem of training, the problem of recruitment. How do we bring in the right people into the police?
Committed.
And not just recruiting, rapid recruitment, because for years we didn't recruit.
No, we had a deficit.
To a manpower of 300,000 for a population this large.
For years we didn't recruit. Whereas we are supposed to recruit every year. So for like 4 years we didn't recruit anybody. And policemen continue to get killed on the battlefield.
They are retiring.
Policemen retire. Policemen get fired out of their jobs. So we have a huge deficit to fill. That is why we don't have enough personnel. And frankly, the decentralization or whatever measures they want to take must also include the rapid deployment of policemen to provide security for money-backed politicians, for rich people in our society. Because I can tell you that more than 35% of our policemen are actually out there guiding civilians.
This is not Entebbe mathematics. We have collectively 460 people at the National Assembly.
Yes.
So 2 policemen per, so that's 460 times 2.
Times 2 already.
So removed from...
That is not talking about the presiding officers.
That's it.
The presiding officers of the National Assembly, they have dozens of policemen.
What about party chairmen too?
No. So not to talk about their wives, because you see policemen carry handbags for their wives.
And umbrellas and all the rest.
Where are the policemen protecting you and I? We just don't have. And so if we don't want to take policemen off these people because they will be stripped bare, and it could be dangerous for their security, then we have to recruit massively.
Right.
Yeah. Charles, mine is this: a cynic once described a committee as a friendly place where a great idea is lured to and then killed. As I said, on paper, this decentralization move is good, but the committee, there must be, you have the term of reference will be there, and time.
The time frame, yes. Well,
they didn't talk about time.
They didn't talk about time. It seems as if it's forever.
Open-ended.
It's forever, which is also not good. We need to set the time frame for it, and then also work and cover a whole place. Thankfully, they have a template to work with, which, of course, they've spoken about. They had a security. There's a security, what they call the summit they had in 2017, yes, where they had far-reaching decisions were made, or suggestions, which, according to even figures from the police circles, that we'll be able to implement those ones. It will help for us to have a very viral policing in Nigeria. Then if you also look at what we are having now, police, as a present constitution, already has a very well laid down template to help us in this decentralization. You have the force headquarters, you have the zonal headquarters, you have the state headquarters, you have the area commands, to division to post, and so on. So all you need to do is that you can carry this template, so that whatever happened in the local government, you don't need to get to the police commissioner's office or to get this done.
Yeah.
You have the divisional police officers or the post where you can easily reach. And these are closer.
Even that divisional police structure yes, can be decentralized.
No, it's already decentralized because you have police posts. You have also the village post. Because that's why if you go to some localities, you have a police post that just has about 5.
Decentralization in this case will not just involve physical decentralization structures. Right. Mm-hmm. They are talking about decision making.
Yeah, decision making. That's why I say you don't have any cost to
decision making.
That's
There's
why
no
I said you don't have any.
decentralization.
A local government chairman has no recourse to report to the state.
But
you
you
can
know,
talk
we're
to,
almost there
Yes.
if this goes through.
if he says true.
So the CP has no recourse to an AIG
No,
who,
but he can have
who
a
reports
recourse.
to a DIG
No, he
and
has
then
a
the
recourse
IG.
to the zoner.
No, that's what I'm
So
saying.
the zone now, like for
What
instance,
you're
Lagos
saying,
now.
the governor can actually, in
Yes, yeah,
tandem
exactly.
with the man, look, take decision.
Take decision immediately, so you don't have to get to Abuja before. Okay, but again, it's also an irony that you find state governors deploying so much resources to kit these police. Look at what the Lagos State government spent when about the
Because we have not, even here,
They can't do anything.
even yesterday, Monguno was appealing to states to assist
They already
the
assist.
police.
I
Appealing.
heard that.
Some states are not assisting enough.
So much anyway.
You know, it was appealing to them to assist. The issue of funding of the police
It's very
is
key,
something
just honestly.
that we have to solve permanently. The current model cannot work. And for me, the police has to be funded.
Jide, no vex, so I cannot sit here and pretend that the central government does not appropriate money to the police.
No, they
does,
are
but-
appropriate, but it's not enough.
It's not
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
But
but even the
Again,
little, even the little.
Part
No,
of
even
the
the channel.
does
Even
it
the
go
channel.
down?
Even the
gets stolen.
channel. Yes,
No,
the
we
channel.
agree.
The
Part
channel
of the-
passes.
Part of the
So
part of the
if a
little-
big one comes,
They
it
still
will
big.
change
They
nothing.
could still big.
No, let's
Let's
not be
pessimistic.
let's not play the doomsday,
So,
prophet.
No, I'm not prophesying here. But your state is on the line again.
Which
of them?
Kamal,
Again.
Kogi.
Ekiti.
No, Kamal, Kogi. Kamal, I greet you. Welcome.
Yeah, Babajide and Co. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We
Great,
greet
sir.
you.
Yeah, this issue of police decentralization. The fear I have about it is some of these our governors, the corrupt governors, they will end up turning these policemen to look like thugs. Come to our area, Kogi. Come and see what is happening.
Yeah,
Look at what happened during last election.
We know
They
what's
want
happening.
police to be operating like thugs. Then, secondly, if we have this police decentralization, what will be the source? Because we don't need to start having corrupt policemen again that will come and be intimidating people in the street.
Kamal, we have to wait. Kamal, we have to wait.
We don't even have an idea.
It's foggy. It's
can't
foggy.
preempt-
and
we
it's
can't
know
there.
what they are planning.
We can't preempt them.
The committee never meet.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
quickly, let's look at the other angles to the topic. Now, we also talked about the National Human Rights Commission cautioning the police over torturing suspects.
Yeah.
How best could you get information from a suspect? I'm not saying torturing. How do you extract or exact information?
You don't have to torture to get information from a suspect. The unfortunate thing is that our security agencies do not have enough data. They don't have the
Database,
data
that's right.
of everyone. They don't have the equipment that they require to do proper
we're
investigation.
still a long way from home.
Yes, and if they don't have the right equipment to do proper investigation, prosecution is compromised ab initio from the beginning.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. You don't have, in some cases what happens, in fact in most cases what happens is, okay, a politician reports someone. He's the one who will give the policemen the instruction to torture.
Yeah.
You say,
Yeah.
no, he's a stubborn person, torture him well. If you don't torture him well, you won't get
Anything.
information. But already the UN has affirmed that it dehumanizes the human being for you to subject him to torture of any kind. So, and we have the law already. We have the anti-torture law of 2017. So all we need to do is ensure that the law is enforced.
But did you
Whether it is in the
did
cells-
you listen to you just now? The lawmakers had said, look, torture him and so on. But the law
No,
is
it's
there.
the big people. The big people, not just the lawmakers. Big people are the ones who usually, when they report someone, they will tell they will even give the police bribe. So that torture him very well.
Sure,
Teach
he
him a
basically
lesson.
confesses, so
Teach him a lesson.
he's very
That
strong,
is
very
what they do.
stubborn.
So, and the policemen must be made to realize that torture of any sort is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And that they have to find a way to extract information without a resort to torture. Torture is unacceptable. If they no longer do it in other places, why should we?
It's crazy. I hear that the police handbook, talks about minimum force.
Not maximum, but
You know, in Nigeria, minimum force means
That is
but it could mean
proportionate.
minimum force in Nigeria means a 2 teeth go command.
But
And that's
Or
minimum.
iron, or pressing iron.
but,
They use it on your back.
but minimum could mean a lot of things to
Look at the boy. Look at the house boy who was tortured
Yes.
with pressing iron.
Oh, yeah.
In Edo
Yeah.
State, and after the guy died in their
That's
hands.
a Chelsea state. Oh.
After, yeah, I know. There is people. After he was tortured and the guy died, they discovered that he wasn't even the one who stole the money.
Yes, exactly.
So this is whether, and I had, you remember that even the National Human Rights Commission said it was going to do an independent audit of SARS cells. They need to tell us what they discovered.
But
never-
even
they never
records,
talk.
records say,
Records say everything. They will just keep quiet. After a while. What did you find in those cells?
Records is even saying that over 170,000 persons are missing so far. But the question is that where are they? Are they dead or are
All
they
right,
alive?
quickly, because we are almost there.
Yes.
You know, as we talk about a decentralization of the police, we must mention Samuel Ogundikpe, the
Premier Times young man who has been released.
who
Yes,
has been released.
he has been released
But-
on bail. 500, after the payment of 500,000 naira. So we must let them know that.
But then I am saying this, he was put in the slammer in contravention of the Freedom of Information, which is now act. It is now
not a
law.
bill anymore, it's a law, yes.
So when you decentralize, are we going to rub that in?
Yeah, but I think, which is what,
you know,
I want to tie it to
what
what you
the
said earlier.
journalists are going through.
Yeah, I want to say tie to what you just said earlier about the issue of training and retraining. What we have within the police is that there is always the determination to
Impress.
no, not impress. Apart from impression, that they must convict. They want to convict. If once you are,
When I say it, they know they work now.
that's what I'm saying. That is, once you get to the police station, they will do everything possible to convict a suspect. That's why all this torture. They don't even know who is a journalist. Sometimes even lawyers.
They are not judges. They are
They are
not
not
judges.
Because you can't determine a case except it has passed through a competent court where cases will be argued. And as Jide said, there's no data. For instance, now if you Google Jide Otitonju by now, you see a lot of things because the thing has been fed into the system. So what we need to do is that journalists are not bound by law to disclose their source, but it must be information that is verifiable and also publishable.
And we must rub in closing, fake news and responsibility. News and responsibility.
It's and then national interest. Again, national interest. National interest is also very, very key. National interest.
It's already, it's affirmed already that the journalist does not have to tell you. When Jimot says, that the guy unlawful possession of...
no, they even say theft. Okay, they said theft, but they kept it in how can theft and robbery go together?
No, the thing is
and the robbery
is
are
unacceptable.
All right, again, ours is to mold opinion, yours is to make up your mind.
Right.
Well, ordinarily speaking, a new deal for the SARS would elicit commendation for the central government, but getting the job done remains a tall order. The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA major rights group, Journalists for the Defense of Human Rights, JDHR, and others applauded the federal authorities for the bold step and believe it's a good sign for good governance for the country. But there's a fly in the ointment, Jide. Yes. And this fly has to do with the man we just talked about, Samuel Ogundikpe.
Yes, you see, the police do not exactly understand how we work. What they need to do is tighten up their own end. Once information or a piece of document leaks to the press and the journalist has done a story, you are not obligated to go and arrest the journalist because he is covered by law, by Nigerian law, not police law. Because the police do not have a law of their own. is covered by Nigerian law to not disclose his information. It is within the rights.
Yeah.
It is within the rights of the journalist as guaranteed by the Constitution to not disclose to you the source of his information. And it is a global tradition. So for you to go grab this young journalist and say that he has stolen information and that what he has done is capable of almost bringing down the country. I mean, this is elevated exaggeration. That they publish that thing. How does it lead to violence in our country? They should tell us. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Stole information from where?
How did they? You know the problem as an editor, as a former newspaper editor, I know that this boy may not even have been the person who procured the document.
That's right.
They will just, if you are in the newsroom, if I come into the newsroom, I have a document. I'll say, oh yeah, come, go and write this story for me. And then you are chasing the boy. The good thing is, even if you torture that boy almost to the point of death, because he didn't come
he won't know the source.
He won't know the source.
He will never know the source.
It happened to me.
He will never know the
when
source.
someone arrested my boss, my own editor. They arrested my own editor in 1995 for a story that I did. And I was smart enough to not stay where they could get hold of me.
Guerrilla
They were torturing the guy. The DMI people were torturing him, applying what is called wrist torture by tightening the handcuff, tightening it. But in the end, they couldn't get anything because the man knew nothing about the story. So it could well be even the case with this boy. So there is no point in this modern age. Look at the way Amnesty International and other international bodies also responded. In this age, you are trying to compel a journalist to tell you his source.
How can it?
In this age?
But there's the other angle, Charles, to this. Every police formation has the image-making unit.
That's right.
Headed by an officer. So there used to be the old practice. I remember in those days on Martin Street, Radio 2, the Alozio Gugwaja comes to mind. He was a journalist and image maker for the Lagos State Command. Saminu Dara, bless his soul, was the CP. Alozio's office was an extension of the newsroom. Everybody is there, so he liaises with them.
Because he understands. He's still alive because he understands.
Alozio is alive.
Because he understands the working,
the dynamics.
That is the relationship between the police and the newsmakers or the news.
So you parley with them.
So what
if
you
there's
do,
anything damaging, you can.
Yes, exactly.
There.
Okay, look. For instance, we were on radio one morning. A colleague of mine here, we were discussing about the president. And the man said the president was lying. I said, no, you don't say so. You could say, I don't believe the president. I disagree with the president. So why? Because I also have publications background. He doesn't have. So that's why you must put somebody who understands the working of the press as the image maker. Because if you just say somebody studied English, for instance, or he studied mass comm just so, without a requisite experience to know how this rapport, this relationship between the newsman and the organization will be. This is what you get. Jimo Moshe, that's his name, right? Jimo Moshe Moskese, when he speaks on TV, what does this man understand about journalism? What do you say about understand about information gathering and information and dissemination?
Leave Jimo alone.
You know?
See, leave Jimo alone. This thing is beyond Jimo. If his boss says, oh yeah, go and
say this.
He's going to say it without arguing.
Even if it goes against
he will not argue. He will not argue.
Look,
I don't know. I don't know if to believe you. I don't know if to believe you.
Hold on. I know what I'm saying. In this case, an IG has just been embarrassed by the publication of that letter.
His boss, anyway.
Remember that even that letter, so written in terrible English and all that.
I saw that
not a defined language. That's enough embarrassment that kind of thing got sent to an acting president. Now, the embarrassment is bad enough for them. The first thing they want to do is the person behind this embarrassment, lock him up. Remember, even when the IG faced that embarrassing, that transmission, that reporter too.
Oh yeah.
They went. It is in their style.
That's right.
So it is not a question.
Wait.
Demon is not the issue.
When the IG says the man who causes this embarrassment. The IG forgets say na person type the letter.
No, apart from that,
no, hold on.
Wouldn't
And
Jimo,
that person there for that office, and they no proofread
exactly.
that.
Oh.
But
What
don't
are
they
we
have
saying?
checks?
So it's
For
just a
instance-
way of trying to looking for who to blame for what has happened.
the thing is that-
the good thing is that the story is accurate.
Accurate, exactly.
So once the story is accurate, there's nothing you can
You
do.
go to town with it.
There's nothing you can do.
Banner headline, you go to town
No,
with it.
in that case, it's a journalistic breakthrough for the
That's
the,
what
for
they call
the
scoop.
publication.
It's a scoop, for
It's a
instance.
journalistic breakthrough.
It's a scoop.
Just like the Adeosun.
the issue
it's
of,
a journalistic breakthrough
that's
for
right.
Premium Times. When it first broke, some people were abusing. They said they come with another lie.
like-
But we can see
Today now,
But we
and
can
anything
see
about it.
by the reluctance to even comment on the
comment
thing
on it.
that these guys hit the bullseye.
You know?
So it's as simple as
So,
that.
but what I want to see is that Jimo and his likes, what they could do.
And his likes.
He likes in the issue of not knowing what
I
to
thought,
do.
No, I thought you said his lies.
No, his likes. No, his
it's
likes.
not.
His
Uh-huh,
likes.
uh-huh.
What they're supposed to do.
Pronounce
What
the
I want
K.
to. Yes. What I'm saying is that when it comes like that, the IG said, "This is what you as a professional, Oga Rakadede sir, this is what."
It's
not
easier
this.
said. It's easier said. Command,
Okay.
control structure.
No, but again.
Before you know it, they will say it's not lawyer. Leave the boy alone.
yeah.
Leave the boy alone.
So, but the police from
Make it argue with him, Oga.
the police from the Oga to downstairs
constable.
must understand we plead esprit de corps.
Yes.
We are supposed to be your friends and so on.
Stop
We
arresting
work together
us.
so that and then
Stop
torturing us.
arresting us.
I beg.
Please, when it is not necessary.
It's not necessary.
All right, then, we must drop anchor here. Jide, your weekend, how is it going to be?
No, say it will start with you.
No.
Our weekend, it's a collective thing.
I'm meditating.
Oh, no.
But let me thank you.
No, but you are not fasting.
Charles Ideho, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Glad to be
So
here.
that's it, we are done. And, we say I haven't been this excited about Friday, since last Friday.
Yes.
It means I have a restful weekend.
Yes.
So that's it.
I was saying something about our
Yes,
growing, our growing
Especially in the US.
YouTube fan base.
fans.
Oh, really?
We want
Especially-
to pay
especially
a
in the
special
US,
tribute
yes.
to our YouTube fans
Mention
in the US.
Masamboa, who is the
Masambua, the model and former minister, most beautiful guy in Nigeria.
Yeah, she's the one who is
All right,
coordinating that.
make us stop now. The backroom boys they need the weekend too. All right, that's it on the program today. Also watch Journalists Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen at the moment and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now.